Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a lot to talk about this evening. I'm going to explain to you exactly why President Trump is speaking about the Clinton email investigation on January 26th, 2019. Have you ever wondered why in 2019 the Clinton email investigation, James Comey, Peter Strzok, all of these characters involved in covering up criminal behavior? Have you ever thought, have you ever asked yourself why these people are still being spoken about? I remember right after the election, people would say, well, enough with Clinton. She's old news. You don't have to speak about Clinton anymore. These are people on the left who would tell me this. Have you ever wondered why why the president of the United States of America, and if people don't think he's legitimate, they're believing nonsense from a fabricated fairy tale regarding Russia and the DNC, which stems from the fact that they cheated Bernie Sanders. But have you ever wondered why Trump is still bringing up Britton Johnson? Hey, Jay Bader looks awesome tonight. Thank you, Britton. Thank you, Britton Johnson. Have you ever wondered why this story is never, ever going away? The story is never going away because there is a precedent that cannot remain. The precedent is the highest diplomat, America's highest diplomat, had a server outside of the United States government with the highest level classification of secrets. And she did so under the guise of convenience, which is ludicrous, absolutely absurd. Even Democrats know it wasn't convenience. You use a server outside of the United States government to hide. Similarly, you utilize a third-party tech firm to look at servers that are allegedly hacked, which is what the DNC did. You do so because you do not trust the United States government. You do not trust the United States government. That's why you utilize a private server. That's why you utilize a third-party tech firm, in this case named CrowdStrike. You wouldn't utilize TrumpStrike. Why didn't the DNC ask Trump for a recommendation? Why didn't they call up the RNC or Paul Ryan and say, hey, do you know a great tech firm? To my super chat, thank you so very much. God bless you, Dave Whalen. Thank you. To my super chat, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. I am going to play some testimony from James Comey that highlights how dangerous the Clinton email debacle was. Highlights the fact that there is no precedent in U.S. history for transferring top secret intelligence outside of the United States government without repercussions, without legal repercussions. The people who have done that are called traitors. Aldrich Ames, Robert Hansen, I believe his name was John Anthony Walker. Let's see, John Anthony Walker. John Anthony Walker was a United States Chief Warrant Officer and Communications Specialist convicted of spying for the Soviet Union from 1968 to 1985, if you could believe that. You have John Anthony Walker, you have Robert Hansen, you have Aldrich Ames. Imagine if they were allowed to have a private server. So today, when Trump tweets about or asks the question, well, wait a second. You have all these people from Peter Strzok to James Comey to Clinton who are lying, but you focus on Roger Stone? Really? How is that? How is that a threat to national security? The Democratic Party was able for 2 years, for 3 years, 4 years, 3.5, for half of 2015, for 2016, for 2017, and for 2018, through the help of Peter Strzok and Jeff Sessions. I mean, you had people on both ends of the political spectrum going to bat for the Clintons. And you had, not only did Bill and Hillary Clinton, not only were they able to project all their criminal behavior onto Trump. Oh, well, he worked with Russia. Meanwhile, Obama's administration presided over a uranium sale to Putin. What's worse, Facebook ads or uranium? Facebook ads or yellow cake uranium for the most dangerous weaponry that mankind has ever known. Which is worse? Which is worse? Trump asks why Clinton, Comey not punished for lying. President Trump on Saturday questioned why Hillary Clinton, former FBI Director James Comey, as well as other intelligence officials and FBI officials have not been punished for making false statements following the indictment of his longtime political advisor, Roger Stone. If Roger Stone was indicted for lying to Congress, what about lying done by Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Lisa Page, and Lover, Baker, and so many more? What about Hillary, the FBI, her 33,000 deleted emails? What about Lisa and Peter's deleted texts and Weiner's laptop? Much more. He's right. He's 100% right. So President Trump, I'm running under the assumption that he's not just going to leave it on Twitter. By the way, check out my latest RT Crosstalk appearance. That'll be below. And also check out my Second Amendment channel. That'll be below as well. My best grouping ever was single action, shooting single action with a .357 Ruger. But I'm going to show you, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. Listen to this. This is 3 hours and 4 minutes into testimony. Almost 3 hours and 4 minutes in. And this is the testimony. Oh, Lord. This is James Comey. Good morning, Brian. Ted, thank you. So this is James Comey under oath, literally saying that he has no clue, because this is July of 2016. And this, by the way, he lied about it being a unanimous decision. It was not unanimous. He lied about writing the exoneration letter only after all the interviews and Clinton was interviewed. He wrote the exoneration letter before 17 witnesses, including Clinton herself. He lied a whole bunch of times, but this is in addition to, Clinton lied as well. We'll get to Clinton a little later. But this is, and if you are a former military or current or active duty soldier or veteran, listen to this. Listen to what Comey says, okay? He's asked by, I believe, a Republican in Congress In July of 2016, he's asked, well, you know, Hillary might become president. What is to stop Clinton, President Hillary Clinton, from utilizing a private server? I want you to listen to his answer very clearly. And honestly, from a philosophical standpoint, this could be one of my most important segments and one of the most important things you'll hear about the Clinton email or about corruption within our society and our government. Check this out. I want to know if you catch this in the same way that I caught it.
Accounting of the facts in that case. Well, would you agree then with Representative Gowdy that there still is really no precedence for punishing someone like Hillary Clinton? And
would you agree with Congressman Gowdy that there's still no precedent for punishing someone who transfers top secret and special access program intelligence from an intranet, Joint Worldwide Intelligence Communication System, from JWICS, from an intranet? Would you agree there's no precedent?
He could really go in, potentially be elected president and do this again without fear of being punished. I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question.
Did you guys hear this? Could you hear his answer? Press 1 if you could hear his answer. Omar Pena, yes. Press 1 if you can hear his answer. Oh my God. Oh, not qualified. Okay. All right. Let's listen to it again, because this is very, very, very important.
Accounting of the facts in that case. Well, would you agree then with Representative Gowdy that there still is really no precedence for punishing someone like Hillary Clinton, and she could really go in, potentially be elected president and do this again without fear of being punished? I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question.
I'm the FBI director of the United States of America. I lead a law enforcement agency with 30,000 employees, thousands and thousands and thousands of agents. I protect this country from domestic and foreign threats, and I am not qualified, James Comey says, to know if Hillary Clinton can utilize a private server as the president of the United States of America that nobody in the United States government has access to. You talk about a dictator. You talk about a despot. Could you, in what democracy, in what republic is one person allowed to hide all of their information from the government and from the people? And he doesn't even know, as the nation's highest law enforcement official, or highest, I should say, the DOJ, the Attorney General is, but the FBI director in charge of protecting the country from domestic and foreign threats doesn't know if Hillary Clinton, as president, would face any repercussions for using a server in the Oval Office. How dangerous is that? It's like a dystopian scenario. How could you, as FBI director, and the FBI is supposed to find out if people are lying. Clinton lied through her teeth, but they didn't care. It was completely and utterly politicized. The whole point of a private server is to hide communication. It's so simple. You don't have to be the FBI director. You think J. Edgar Hoover would allow any president, anyone, any diplomat, any secretary of state to simply just have a channel of communication that nobody, including the FBI, had access to? When in U.S. history has it been sanctioned by the state to give one politician access to the nation's highest secrets, for that politician to put the nation's highest secrets outside of the United States government without anyone in the government knowing? When has that ever happened? And when has that ever happened in any other country other than a country where there's one leader, one dictator, and they just control everything? Where the government doesn't where he doesn't answer, or she doesn't answer to the government. Theoretically, Hillary Clinton could be committing major crimes, espionage, could be selling state secrets, and Comey would never have known. And as president, she could have done the same thing, theoretically, and nobody would have known. And not only that, Comey was not qualified, he says. Just listen to it again. He's not qualified to make the judgment.
Accounting of the facts in that case. Well, would you agree then with Representative Gowdy that there still is really no precedence for punishing someone like Hillary Clinton, and she could really go in, potentially be elected president and do this again without fear of being punished? I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question.
He's not qualified to answer the question, even though he took it upon himself to decide whether or not Hillary should be indicted for using a private server with classified intelligence. He couldn't think beyond that moment in time, July 7, 2016 to November 8, 2016, to where she might be still using, which she would have been still using, a private server with classified intelligence outside of the United States government. And the real issue is how she did it. And I don't know why nobody asked, and maybe they did, I can't find it. Nobody asked Comey, how did she transfer top secret and special access program intelligence outside of an intranet, a government intranet called JWIX? This is a closed system you cannot transfer anything from. So I don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get how you have James Comey saying, and I just can't get it. I don't get how you have James Comey saying that, well, you know, we don't know, or the FBI doesn't know if Hillary Clinton would use a server outside of the United States government, even as president. Even as president. Does that make any sense at all? So that's the extent, ladies and gentlemen. That's the extent where you have a situation we know already. We know that she transferred top secret intelligence illegally. We know that Peter Strzok, and he also stated, by the way, and this is Trump, this is Comey, that, hold on, let's listen to this. Hold on one second. Let's listen to this.
The The decision was made and the recommendation was made the way you would want it to be, by people who didn't give a hoot about politics, but who cared about what are the facts.
Not true. We have Peter Strzok's emails. So not true. No. Hillary should be locked up for what she did, which is transfer top secret intelligence outside the United States government. The problem is that the corruption is so widespread that even James Comey stated, well, we just don't know. I just don't know what we would have done, and I'm not qualified to say if she would have faced repercussions for using a server outside of the United States government. Why doesn't Trump use a server outside of the United States government? There's no evidence, absolutely no evidence that Trump worked with Russia, because he didn't. Why doesn't Trump use a private server? Clinton did it for convenience. Why doesn't Trump use a private server for convenience? You know, it's like the most absurd, like if Trump does anything, it's like, oh my God, the Steele dossier purchased by Clinton. Trump does not use a private server. No, he does not. Why don't you send a link, please, of where he uses a private server outside the United States government? He does not use a private server. So, and what was it? Kushner using Gmail is not the same as what Clinton had. Clinton transferred top secret intelligence outside of the United States government. Trump did not. And we know Peter Strzok said we'll stop Trump. We know Peter Strzok said there's an insurance policy. We know CrowdStrike was outsourced by Hillary Clinton. We know the Steele dossier was purchased by Hillary Clinton. And so we have evidence with Clinton's crimes, zero evidence with Trump. You just put the link in the chat. There, he doesn't have a private server. It would have been, they would have actually found a statute and gotten him on it. So, but I mean, and that's the thing. She had a private server she had a private server for 4 years. That's not a server. An unsecured iPhone is not a server. That's completely and utterly different. Trump uses unsecured iPhone, even though China and Russia are listening. So what? So, did he talk about special access program intelligence? No. Did he transfer classified data? No. Was he saying hello to someone? Who cares? She used a BlackBerry that actually had top secret intelligence on servers that were maintained by Brian Pagliano, on servers in the State Department and in her basement, using a BlackBerry that was hacked by the world. We know from Charles McAuliffe. Using an unsecured iPhone is not a private server. No, it's not private server use. You think Trump could call up Apple and say, oh, by the way, I'm using your servers? No. That's not. And here you have another lie from Comey right here. You have another lie right here, which is when he says, well, you know, listen to Comey right here.
I see evidence of great carelessness, but I do not see evidence that is sufficient to establish that Secretary Clinton or those with whom she was corresponding both talked about classified information.
Wrong. Judicial Watch has emails where she says, send it non-paper, meaning it's classified, send it non-paper. Send it outside of the classification system.
On email, and knew when they did it, they were doing something that was against the law.
They knew it was against the law because it's impossible to transfer from JWIC's Special Access Program intelligence. And Brian Pagliano's emails are missing. And she had a private server outside of the United States government with classified intelligence and top secret and special access program intelligence. She knew it was against the law. She paid Brian Pagliano to do it. And she didn't tell President Obama, and she didn't tell the NSA, and she didn't tell anyone. In fact, Obama apparently didn't know that his Secretary of State didn't have or had a private server. So President Obama didn't know. That's why she didn't tell him, because of course it was against the law. It's under U.S. Code 793F, you don't even need intent. But she intended to transfer the top secret data because she did so. That's where the intent comes in. It's very difficult to do so, and nobody knows how she did. That's what makes it so dangerous.
The decision was made and the recommendation was made the way you would want it to be. But
oh, really? By Peter Strzok saying we'll stop Trump? Really? They're not, Donald and Ivanka are not using private servers. So that's not true anyway. That's no. See, they're not using private servers, one, and two, they're not transferring special access program intelligence from JWICs onto private servers. That's the big thing. And if you use Gmail, or if you use an iPhone, you're still using the government Wi-Fi or the government servers. Okay, there's still a way to snoop. The government can easily know exactly what text messages they're using on an iPhone or whatever. If you use a server, a homebrew server that you made that allegedly the NSA didn't even know, different ballgame, much different ballgame. But I mean, that's the thing, you know. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Let's listen.
By people who didn't give a hoot about politics, but who cared about what are the facts.
Not true. We have emails from not just Peter Strzok and text messages from Peter Strzok. He said, we will stop Trump. It's an insurance policy. You have Andrew McCabe, whose wife got money from Clinton's PACs. You have all this information. So Parabiology 101. Yes, I know. Thank you for watching as always.
What is the law, and how have similar people, all people, been treated in the past?
Nobody transferred special access program intelligence for 4 years and top secret data for 4 years. Yes, he did. He got Democratic PACs. Maybe not, Hillary for victory. Maybe not direct Hillary PAC, but he got money from Terry McAuliffe, who was the Virginia governor, who was a huge Clinton Foundation fundraiser, who had an FBI criminal investigation of his own. And some Democratic PACs in Virginia gave her money. If the tables were turned, they would say, oh my God, just put 2 and 2 together. So, I mean, it's not, look, at the end of the day, William Barr is going to start a Strzok and Page investigation. And And that's it. I mean, then he's going to hopefully start a Mark Skog. I have. I was thinking of how to go ahead and do it, but Mark Skog, I have. Hillary had intent because she paid Brian Pagliano to transfer top secret intelligence, because you cannot do it easily. You can't. There's evidence that she used the server for 4 years to hide. There's zero evidence with Trump and Russia, but they're investigating Trump and Russia. Of course there's intent. Why would you? It's like you get into a car. Where's the intent to go someplace? Well, you got into the car. My God. It's like money flowed into the Clinton Foundation and beneficial treatment took place numerous times. Well, where's the intent? Where's the pay to play? Well, that's what the pay to play, that's where the intent is. If that's the logic used, well, she didn't know what she was doing, then why investigate Trump? There's no evidence he did anything wrong. They're connecting the dots with Trump, and they have zero evidence. No, the intent is setting up a private server outside of the United States government. What other intent is there other than hiding information? It was not convenient. By nature, it was actually very, very inconvenient. She had even there were email exchanges with Uma Abedin saying, well, Uma Abedin actually told her, hey, you should probably use a government email since this is really, really difficult to handle. And she said, well, no way. The intent is that she transferred top secret and special access program intelligence onto her private server, along with 33,000 emails she deleted, destroying government evidence. So obviously there's intent. You don't utilize a private server by accident. And then you don't have a clear pay-to-play Clinton Foundation money laundering scheme where Uranium One executives are giving money, and it's just what a coincidence, the uranium sale. Oh, what a coincidence. 85 donors give $156 million. So of course there's intent. She didn't tell President Obama for a reason, allegedly. Obama knew. But here you have emails from on Wiener's laptop. Her classified emails were all over the place just to hide Clinton Foundation information, which is why she deleted 33,000 emails. They weren't about yoga. The intent to use a private server is concealing your communication. That's obvious.
Information on former Congressman Wiener's computer.
Yes.
Who sent it to him?
His then spouse, Huma Abedin, appears to have had a regular practice of forwarding emails to him, for him, I think, to print out for her.
That makes no sense at all. You forward classified data for Anthony Weiner to print out. There are no printers at the State Department.
So she could then deliver them to the Secretary of State.
Did former Congressman Wiener read the classified material?
I don't think so. I think his description. I don't think we've been able to interview him because.
So he's beginning to lie there. He's like, I think his description. And so he's starting a lie, and then he says, gosh,
He has pending criminal problems.
Listen to this. He has pending criminal problems. We don't want to hurt him. Meanwhile, they're just trying to destroy the lives of anyone they can destroy on Trump's side.
Criminal problems of other sorts, but my understanding is that his role would be to print them out.
Hold on one second. Listen to this.
Sorts, but my understanding is that his role would be. I think his description. I don't think we've been able to interview him because he has pending criminal problems.
We haven't been able to interview him because he has pending criminal problems. How does that work? How does that work? How do you not interview somebody? Because if you're the Kavanaugh, There's zero evidence with anything pertaining to Kavanaugh except one person's statement without any eyewitness, nothing. Intent to commit a crime. Look, the transfer of top secret intelligence, this is very simple. The transfer of top secret intelligence, along with the utilization of a private server outside the United States government for 4 years, where Brian Pagliano's emails are missing. The intent there is to hide your communication. That's the intent. It's a criminal intent. The crime is actually transferring top secret intelligence. Don't trust me. Even James Comey said there's evidence of criminal statutes being broken, but we didn't see the intent. The evidence of criminal statutes being broken inherently involves intent. You can't accidentally transfer top secret intelligence, and it's not easy to do, so she lied about convenience. That's the point. If Trump had a private server, just imagine. Imagine if Trump had a private server. Then you do the math on that one. It's like, my God, it's like impossible. Who cares? You don't know if Kavanaugh would strike the argument down, but whatever. Kavanaugh would not strike, and nobody would strike any argument that Clinton did anything unintentionally. It was completely intentional. And anyway, I'll give you it. It's unintentional. U.S. Code 793F you don't need intent. So that's the whole point. U.S. Code 793F, you don't even need intent. Well, obviously, she intentionally used the server to hide. It's like obvious. But U.S. Code 793F, gross negligence is enough. And gross negligence was in the original sentencing that Comey was going to use. And Peter Strzok, the guy who said we'll stop Trump, deleted 5 references to gross negligence. And he said extreme carelessness, which didn't read exactly with the statute. So, I mean, it's like you utilize a private server and you have a Clinton Foundation pay to place obvious schemes. You're hiding your information from the United States government. That's so obvious. That's why she deleted 33,000 emails, and that's why she utilized a private server. She doesn't have to say, I utilized a private server outside the United States government that nobody knew about for convenience. And then the record shows it was extremely inconvenient and very difficult to set up. And nobody knows how she transferred the information, which inherently is illegal. You can't do so intentionally or unintentionally. So the intent is absurd. Of course, there was intent, but even if there was an intent, U.S. Code 793F says she should have been indicted. James Baker, the legal counsel under Comey, said that she should have been indicted in testimony, but that Comey convinced him otherwise. By the way, I enjoy the exchange of ideas.
Sorts, but my understanding is that his role would be to print them out as a matter of convenience.
If he did read them.
To print them out as a matter of convenience. Meanwhile, you don't even have Flynn lying to the FBI, and he's still getting indicted for things. So where are the process crimes here? Why are the process crimes only on one end of the equation? This is so, if the tables are turned, and I believe they will be in 2019, you are going to see a complete crumbling. The edifice is going to come crashing down of all of this. I mean, it's just absurd. The whole thing is absurd. Rob 589, if Mueller just wants the truth, why hasn't he interviewed Kim.com or Julian Assange? Exactly. Because he doesn't want the truth. He absolutely can't, he does not want the truth at all. He does not want the truth at all. He doesn't want the truth at all. And that's the thing. Rob 589, he doesn't want the truth. The reality is that Trump was set up, that the FBI covered up Clinton's crimes. And what's basically taking place is the Democrats have, for 2 years, utilized the government against Trump, his own government against him. Now, if the tables are turned, and I believe they will be, It ain't going to look good.
State.
Sorry. It ain't going to look good. It is just not going to look good at all. They have Brian Pagliano, who will be asked, oh, why did Hillary Clinton pay you for the server? Where did you realize you were transferring top secret intelligence? How did you transfer the top secret intelligence? Why didn't you notify anyone? Did you, even under U.S. Code 793F, which you don't need intent, you have a situation where it's game over. I mean, it is game over. So, but check this out.
Would he have committed a crime?
Potentially.
Would his spouse have committed a crime?
Again, potentially. It would depend upon a number of things.
Is there an investigation with respect to the two of them?
There was, it is, we completed it.
There was, it is, we completed it. No, there wasn't. There wasn't an investigation. You have not only no evidence with Trump Russia, but they're getting people on process crimes. Meanwhile, in the IG report, you actually have one person, one of the FBI agents say, yeah, one of the Clinton email people did lie, but we overlooked it. And Clinton said she thought the C meant it was part of alphabetical order. They shoved a laptop in the mail. The whole thing is an obvious attempt at concealing and hiding communication from the United States government and the people of the United States. That's why you utilize a private server outside the US, not for convenience. That's why, miraculously, 4 years of Brian Pagliano's emails are missing. That's why Pagliano actually was subpoenaed and didn't even show up, and nothing happened to him. So, I mean, the double standard is like unbelievable. And we still don't know exactly how she transferred top secret intelligence. That's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to the person that I was debating with. I thank you. I enjoy the discussion, the respectful back and forth. I thank you. To my super chat, thank you so very, very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you tomorrow, perhaps later on, but I'll see you a little later. Thank you so very, very much. It's going down in 2019. You definitely want to watch this channel. Thank you again. Oh, check out my latest crosstalk appearance. We talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and my Second Amendment channel. Thank you so much.